What is the best choice for mulch in the vegetable garden? How should you apply it? And what are some tricks for putting it on to get maximum yield? That's what I'm going to discuss in this video. There are three basic types of mulch you can use in the garden: compost, straw and hay, and wood chips. All three of those are very useful in the garden, but in this video I'm going to focus on the vegetable garden. Let's start with compost. Compost is probably the best choice for rapid soil development. If you want to improve your soil, adding compost is really important. The problem with compost is that it doesn't really make a good mulch. And the reason is that it's quite nutritious. It's got lots of air in it, so it's a perfect place for weeds to grow. And one of the main reasons for adding mulch is to keep down the weed load. I hate weeding, and that's one of the reasons I wouldn't choose compost. Now, if your primary goal is soil building, you want to improve the health of your soil, compost is great. And you can put compost on first and then cover it with one of the other two materials I'm going to discuss. The next one I'd like to look at is wood chips. Now, the problem with wood chips is that they're easily dug into the soil. And when pieces of wood get below the top of the soil level, they get dug into the soil, they start taking nitrogen away from the soil and away from your plants. So you get poor plant growth. Now in a vegetable bed, we're constantly digging in that soil, even if you use a no-dig method. Right? You're harvesting, you pull out that carrot and some of the top part falls into the hole. You're planting your tomato plants, so you're digging holes. And I find wood chips can be used in the garden, but you have to be very careful and constantly rake them out of the way before you start doing things in the soil, and that's a bit of a pain. So I don't recommend wood chips. They certainly can be used, and if that's what you have, go ahead and use them. Just be very careful to move them aside before you do anything in the soil. The other thing you can do is add some extra nitrogen. So when you're fertilizing, put on what you normally would for the plants and then add some extra to compensate for the nitrogen being used to decompose the wood chips. The problem is for most gardeners is we don't know how much that is. And so it's a bit of a guess, right? Do I throw on one handful or two handfuls? That leaves us with straw and hay. And I'm grouping those as one product, but they're actually two different things. So let's understand the difference between straw and hay. Hay is a plant that the farmer grows and harvests in the green stage. It's grown as animal feed, so we want it very nutritious. That makes a great mulch because it's got lots of nutrients in it. Straw is the remains of the plant after another crop is harvested, like wheat. So you take the wheat off, harvest that, and then the stubble that's left is cut off as straw. It's not as green, it doesn't contain as much nitrogen, it's less nutritious. The other difference between those two is the weed load. How many weed seeds are in these products? And it's kind of interesting that some people online claim that straw has more weed seed, and others claim it's hay. Now, I think the real answer depends on how those were grown. Hay can have seeds from the plant itself or from weeds. And so I think it tends to have more weed. But on the other hand, straw is harvested later in the season after the other crop is finished. And if there are a lot of weeds in that field, well, you're also going to harvest weed seeds. Personally, I don't think it matters. If you find that either straw or hay is producing a lot of weeds in your garden, you're not putting it on thick enough. If you put a thick layer on, it stops the weed roots from getting to the soil and growing. So I've never had a problem with either product. Now, what I use mostly is straw for a couple of reasons. The main one is cost. Straw is generally less expensive, and around here I have an easier time of getting it, so I use straw. But I'd have no hesitation in using hay if that's what I had. Why should you mulch? Why bother with this whole thing? Well, a lot of people grow their crops like this, bare soil. And there's a couple problems with this. One is that you lose a lot of moisture. so you have to water more often. By covering the ground with mulch, you'll water a whole lot less. But even more important to that is that you have a more even amount of water in soil. When you leave it bare like this, it rains, the soil has lots of moisture, then it dries. Then it rains again, and it's wet, and then it dries. So you get this cycle, dry ground, wet ground, dry ground, wet ground. And that's perfect for causing blossom end rot in tomatoes. Blossom end rot is not a calcium deficiency as so many people think. It's a watering issue. If you can keep the moisture in the soil constant, you're less likely to get blossom end rot. Another problem with leaving the soil like this is that as it rains, the droplets actually pound that soil and create a crust on the top. Once you have that crust, it's much harder for air and water to get into the soil. So the solution is to come along here once a week, once every 2 weeks and hoe it. That's just a lot of work that you don't have to do. By putting mulch on top, you stop this crusting problem. And you can simply leave your soil all summer long. And of course, the biggest benefit, no weeds. I wouldn't garden without mulch. The easiest way to use straw or hay is to buy it in these smaller bales. And that can even be a challenge. A lot of people are making these big bales and they're a little hard to transport, so they're not really suitable for gardens. Get yourself some of these small bales. When it's dry, they're quite light and easy to move. Once they're wet, these are quite heavy. I generally get a pile of them in the fall and then use them as needed in the garden. They come with strings. Just cut the strings off or pull them off. And then you'll find that the bales themselves, they kind of fall apart like a loaf of bread into these sections. These sections are nice and light and are easy to transport around. So I now take this into the garden. Let's talk about the end of the season. When the harvest is done and it's fall, I just leave the straw wherever it is. Ideally, all winter long, every part of your garden is covered with straw. Just leave it there. It's slowly decomposing, adding some nutrients to the soil, keeps the soil from drying out and crusting on the top. So just leave it. The problem now is in spring. You want to plant and everything's covered in straw. So I find the easiest thing to do is just rake it off the beds, pile it up temporarily. And I use my pathways for that. So this here is last year's straw. You can see the difference in color. It's much softer, it's starting to decompose, but it's still pretty good straw. Once I'm finished planting, I then move this back around the plants. The other thing that's important is to mulch the pathways. You don't want weeds there either. Now, walking on straw or hay is a little tricky when it's wet. It does become a little slippery, so you have to be a little careful. But I'd rather mulch my pathways and not weed. These are my recently planted tomatoes, and you can apply the straw in two different ways. You can take these slices of straw and simply lay them down. Sometimes I even split them up a little so they're a little thinner. And I just put this on the ground like that. Now the problem with this is that there's a lot of straw in this one little spot. So you're going to need a lot more straw in the garden if you do it this way. But if you do this, boy, this really keeps the weeds down because it's so thick there's no light getting through it. A much more efficient way is to take this and now loosen it up and spread it around. Now once it's nice and loose, it's easy to push around the plants. And I like to get it right up to the plant. Because these are newly planted, the roots of this are right underneath it, right here. And that's where I want the moisture to be kept. Now later in the season, the roots will be 2 or 3 feet away from here. But right now, we want the moisture kept right in here. So I push them against the plant. The other reason for doing that is that there are tomato diseases that can be splashed up from the soil. So when it rains or you're watering, bits of soil come up and get attached to the leaves, and that can cause a fungal problem. By pushing the straw right up underneath the leaves, you keep them cleaner and you have a better chance to fight that disease. Wow, look, you even have a tomato already. How much hay do you actually put on here? Use a lot. I think most people don't use enough. And then they complain that, oh, this product or that product is too weedy. If you put it on loose like this, and it's this thick, it will compact to about a third. And that'll be just perfect for keeping the weeds down. So start with a good 6 inches of loose straw. I'd like to show you a little trick I do with my peas. These have been in the ground for about 4 weeks now, and they're about 10 inches tall. I plant them really early when it's cold, so it does take them a while to get going. I weed underneath the plants, and now it's ready to mulch. I want these peas to be growing up this trellis, and I use the mulch to both mulch them and to force them to grow up. Simply take the plants, gently move them against the trellis, and push the straw against them. The tendrils will grab the trellis and they'll start growing up very quickly now. And then I mulch the pathway as well. It's the 3rd week in May, and my garlic's looking really good for this time of the year. I should have quite a large harvest. Now, if you want to know how to grow garlic, I have a complete video to show you how to do this. But in this part, I only want to talk about the straw aspect. In early spring, the bulb is still underground, and there's either zero growth or very little growth showing above ground. But the ground here is frozen. So what I do in early spring, as soon as the ice is thawed out of the straw, I move it aside, and you can see it piled up here beside the bed. I want the sun to hit that soil, and the sun then warms up the soil and starts the growth process. That's what's been happening here for the last 6 to 8 weeks. Now we've reached a point where the weather is getting warmer and the weeds are starting to grow. So now it's time to put the straw back on the soil. Now we want to keep the soil cool because roots grow best in cool soil. And I want to keep that moisture level there and keep the weeds down. I'll then keep it mulched for the rest of the season. And next spring, I'll take the mulch off again to let the soil warm up. This is where I grow cucumbers, and I've treated them pretty much the same as the garlic. I leave the mulch on there all winter, and then very early on I rake it off into the pathway. I want that soil to warm up. Cucumbers only grow in warm soil, and so I want to get this process started as early as I can in the season. I start those cucumbers indoors, and I have a video to show you how to do that. So in the next couple days I'll be planting those out here. I'll leave the soil bare to keep it nice and warm, and then in about 3 or 4 weeks I'll move that mulch back. Now you can see some larger weeds here, and this is a different type of weed. This is actually goldenrod, and it comes from behind the fence, underneath the fence, and starts growing here as rhizomes. These aren't seeds. It's very hard to control this type of weed with mulch because it's growing in from outside the garden. Now, one solution that would work is to mulch the outside of the garden as well, but I just can't be bothered with that. Any that crawl under the fence, I'll just dig them out before I plant the garlic. That's the story about mulching vegetable gardens. Now, don't forget your fruits too. These are my current bushes here. They've just finished flowering and I can see the fruit starting to develop on these. They're outside my vegetable garden, but they're still an important part of this garden, and I also mulch around the base here for the same reason. If you mulch regularly, you have to do no maintenance on these except pick the berries and prune them out in early spring to thin the bushes. Anyways, if you want to know more about growing vegetables, I have a whole series of videos and I'll put a link to that right here.